So let's start the show. Since Dom took over the show last week, I don't know if I'm going to take over the show this week. He'll probably take it over again. But, hey.
You're being funny again, huh?
Hey, we all have to try.
Right? Yes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, freaks, geeks. It's your host with the most, with the host with the mostest. Sam.
You really think so, Dom?
Yes.
So, what is going to be our topic this week?
I think, for me personally, I have a problem with, I don't have a problem with it, but I have a semi-problem with, you're such an inspiration. I like to use those things that you see, like, what are those heartwarming, touching things about people with disabilities. Normally people that weren't born with them, but sometimes they were. The inspirational, everybody can do it when they're able-bodied stories. Like, everybody can do it. Because your life isn't that bad. Look at this guy's life. Type stories.
So you're talking about the people who get an ego boost from, say, people like you and me?
Yeah. Dude, because I run across family members that do it all the time. I run into family members, friends, anybody that has, like, a horrible time in their life. I might not hear about them when they're good. Like, they're right there.
Yeah, well, you kind of have to live with it, to be honest, because, like, some people are going to do it and some people aren't, and the people who do it sometimes are, like, the most important people in your world. So what does that say? And you can't exactly cut them out, Dom. Well, I guess you could, but,
You're talking to me, which I've been known to cut a lot of people off for a lot of that. But you're right, though. Like, a lot of people that are in your life that are a positive or a person that's been there for you since day one, you reach a point, I guess, in your life, they end up doing that and you end up noticing. There's a point where you don't notice and you're cool with it, like, oh. But once you start putting two and two together, it kind of sucks. But like I said, this is the way the world works. I don't do it to people because I'm a different breed of human being. I feel the big man broke the mold when he made me, and I'm not just saying that when people are egotistical and say that. It's kind of the truth. But what are your feelings about it, Sam?
About what? Our families? Or cutting people off? Or
just the whole, like, people using you as inspiration to motivate themselves.
Well, before I was going to cut you off, it kind of depends on the person. Like, if you know the person really well, like, they're really close, and you know what they've been through and situations, blah, 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 it makes sense sometimes, I feel like. Now, if you don't know the person, and the person just walks up to you, and they're like, oh, you're such an inspiration, or, like, this incident that happened to me when I was literally at the mall, and I was just at the mall by myself, nobody was with me, and so I was wandering around the mall looking for things. I was actually trying to find a gift for someone. This was a while back, and this lady comes up to me and she's like, you're so much of an inspiration, can I pray for you? Your life needs to be so much better. And I was like, really, lady? Like, but I didn't say that, of course. I'm like, yeah.
I get that. Like, I get that a lot. I'm sorry for cutting you up, but I get that a lot. Like, the whole, I don't get it too much now. I think a lot of people think I worship Satan, to be quite honest with you. But
Dom worshiping Satan. That's a new one.
It's a funny one, right? Yeah. But like, I get that. Like, the whole random pray for you thing. Like, I was always taught just to take it. Like, take your blessings if you give you. Hey, there's nothing wrong with extra blessing. But, like, yeah, there's definitely times where you're like, oh, yeah, I'm better than that person. Or you ever run into the fact that you always wished you were, like somebody next to you. Like, you're, say, a close friend or a family member, and you're like, man, that life seems interesting. Because they're always doing this, that, and the other. And then you really, like, when you get to a certain point, I think it's, like, when you reach a certain age, and you guys have, like, a grown-up discussion.
And I think when you're talking about the certain age, you're talking about, like, high school, past high school age, because that's kind of when a lot of this hits you, or even middle school. Before that, you're like, whatever. But
I was whatever in middle school.
I was whatever in high school. So, like...
But, it's so funny when you, I remember talking to my cousin. Me and him used to hang out. And he used to get all the girls and go all the parties. And then one day we were just riding around the car in Detroit. And we were just listening to music. And he goes, man, I wish I was you. I was like, why is that? You know what I'm saying? It's just... I don't have what you got going on. You got lots of things going on.
You said that, or he said that?
You know yourself. And I was like, that's true. He was like, I feel like I have to run around and do all these things, and you've never felt like that. I'm like, he was like, you wanted to run around, but at the end of the day, you'd be like, nah, I'm good. Go watch some anime or something. It was like, yeah, I guess that's true,
But the thing is, I feel like this is the classic, the grass is always greener on the other side of the story. And to be real honest, it's not. You could think that their life is great, or they could think that your life is great, but when you get really deep down into it, you're like, no. I know for me, when I was younger, I used to spend a lot of time with my mom's sister and her kids, and she's my aunt, obviously, and she's only a few years older than my mom, but man, their lifestyle was different. By the time I hit middle school, I was like, I'd rather go home and sleep in my own bed and, do my own things, and, I mean, I didn't mind hanging out with them, but, their rules were different. Their expectations were different. Their lifestyle was different. Whereas, at home, I was allowed to be, the geeky book reader, and there I was not, and it was just, there was no quiet. There was no space or anything that you could actually get to be by yourself. And for me, that's kind of, an issue, because, I like to spend a lot of time by myself to, actually get stuff done sometimes. I can get stuff done with a lot of people around and, busyness going on. But
that gentleman, that's a keeper. She wants to be by herself.
No. It's just that, if you're not doing the same type of thing that I'm doing, it's kind of, difficult. If you're in a newsroom, it's never quiet. It's always busy. And that's fun and dandy because everybody's working for the same, goal. Get this production out and get it out good. But when you're, over at your cousin's house and they're, watching Scooby-Doo and then, Children of the Corn on 2 different TVs.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then you're, trying to read this book. Well, your other cousin is trying to have a conversation with you while he folds the laundry. It's it's a little hectic. It's kind of like when you babysit, you spend a lot of time with little kids. They pull you in so many different directions that you can't focus.
See, and I can focus in chaos, and that's just been. But I like quiet too. I like being by myself, and locked in a space, and all that, just like you do. So I get it both ways. But I need a certain amount of chaos.
Well, I do too, in the sense that I need a certain amount to be I am more productive when I'm busy, and so being around that and being do this, do that, here's a deadline here. That's great. I get a lot more done. But in that sense, you're all, as I said before, you're working for a same goal. You're not doing this and doing that. I'm sorry, but I can't edit a video with a 9-month-old in my arm. There's just no way.
Nah, that's a skill that's going to be learned later on in life.
Later on in life, when I have my own children, hey, I babysit quite a bit, and I still can't edit with the baby in my arms, unless it's a sleeping baby. I've done that. But not in a week, baby.
I seen a lady DJ with a baby in her arms.
A wake baby?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was epic. I thought that was awesome.
How old was this baby?
Baby.
Yeah, see, that's much easier. When they get to the stage where they're grabbing and pulling on and wanting to type.
Yeah, it's pretty much that type too, but The baby was just so chill. He had headphones on. It was like soundproof little baby joints to make sure baby don't go deaf. And the mama was rocking the party. It was dope.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of depends. Like, I know the little kids that I watch, you put a computer in front of them, they're going to try and type. And they're going to try and type. And they're not going to type anything good. And they're going to delete your whole video. And you're going to be like, well.
Yeah. I used to just put my baby sister to sleep with beats. She used to climb in my lap. And I used to throw my headphones. She used to think she wanted to wear my headphones all the time. So I had to turn it down to number 2 because I wore the big giant headphones. And she would be like, oh, and she'd be out, so she wouldn't be in my head too much. I just stimulated her little brain with the sounds of joy, and it's okay. But like back to the topic, being like disabled porn, I call it disabled porn. A lot of people do in the disabled community.
Yeah, but let's get this straight. We're not talking about like the porn with the disability. No.
Yeah,
like there is porn too.
We're talking about like inspirational stuff. What I call porn is it's just like quick gratification. It makes people feel better about themselves within a day.
It's self-esteem boosting, is what it is.
Yeah, it's like using somebody's struggle to just make yourself feel better for like a hot second when you feel like crap. So it's all good and dandy, trust me. Everybody does it to somebody, but like the amount that the disabled community gets it is pretty
well, it's true because like people think that they're worse off than you, and in reality maybe they are, maybe they aren't. You don't know their life.
There's that too, but like I don't like to be used like I'm just the average Joe.
Yeah, you don't like to be used as something.
I haven't done anything super spectacular or anything like that. Now, my mom always says, when you graduate high school, you beat the odds. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I understand that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of variations in my upbringing, I guess, that I could say, okay, that can inspire somebody. But just me going to the restaurant and ordering food.
Being an inspiration. Yeah, no, I get it. Like, it's one thing to be an inspiration for the things you do, the things you, like...
Accomplish.
Yes, accomplish. That's the word I was looking for, Dom. Because not everybody can do that. But then, just living your average everyday life. And don't get me wrong, disabled people are in the same boat as everybody else, where their lives are completely different, and somebody's life may be better off than the others. Although a lot of them tend to live on a fixed income because of, government subsidies, and unfortunately we're not like in a country like New Zealand who gets like free health care and like everything paid for in that sense. So times are tight and things are tough, but some people could be incredibly rich too. There's both sides of the story on every spectrum, I feel like.
Yeah, like and they are the rich disabled people. I've met them.
Well, I feel like we've all met them. Like
they get, that's a different story for a different day, and I'd sound like I'd be ranting and bashing, but I'm not.
Well,
I'm gonna refrain from that from this show.
Are you gonna refrain from that? Or are we gonna go into that? Who knows? But
yeah, it depends on the day, people.
It really does, and what we're... All I can say is there are some people who are lucky enough to be born into families who can, give them every whim.
Yeah, take care of them like every other family member wants to do, even when they're not in their situation. But overall, I like the way I was brought up, and I like the fact that there is disabled, inspirational, things to get people motivated. Because what motivates me? Money. What motivates me at the end of the day? Being comfortable, being able to pay for my charity, being able to, not rely on assistance one day like that. So, if you want to be inspired by me, just going to the grocery store. Go right ahead.
I mean, like, I guess they can be in their own little world, shall I say, but, like, I don't know. I agree with Dom in the sense that I just kind of want to be able to live an average, everyday life and do the things I love and the things that make me happy. And some of those things are the same things that, Dom's interested in, but some of them aren't. And I just feel like we should be allowed to step out of our house, hit up our friends for dinner, go out. Like, I've been to street dances and I've been out with my friends and people are like, and I'm like, whatever. I'm still gonna go to the bar and I'm still gonna, like, hang out with them because they're cool people. So, in a sense, people need to realize that, yes, we're the same, but yes, we can be inspirational for some things. And I think something that Dom hasn't touched on is that inspirational disabled people can be inspirational for other disabled people too.
Oh yes, most definitely. Yeah, you're right. I didn't touch on it because, like, I see a dude that, I know a guy. He gave me my first job offer. He owned his own business. He was in retail wheelchair parts.
Okay.
which was cool. So he's a chair salesman, but he was in a chair. So he wanted to give me a job at the time. I was like 15, and the only reason I didn't take it because I didn't have a ride. But I was gonna work the phones for him because he liked the way I talk. He said I could sell water to a drowning man. He liked the way I moved. So, but that was inspirational to me because like growing up, you don't really have a what I call the role model. The inspirational. I want to be just like that person, because our struggle is so much our own.
Well,
when we're younger, we don't get to meet other people.
I mean, you kind of do in some instances. If you guys know anything about this, like, my mom was involved with the windmill project, and so I've met quite a bit of people with disabilities, different types, same type of disability as a kid. And, like, the parents would sit down and they would have these, like, educational forums, but then there would be times where they would, like, okay, we're going to take the kids and build a scarecrow. Like, we've got pictures from this. And it's totally fine and dandy, and it's a place for the parents to intermingle and, throw out ideas and be like, is your kid doing this? Is somebody for them to relate to on an adult level. But then that place was open enough where it even allowed my brothers, who are quote-unquote able-bodied, to be involved too. So it really just kind of depends. And I know, like, that group was kind of selective in the sense that you kind of had to prove that your kid had this and this to be a part of it. So they weren't just letting in, like, the creeps and the freakers and, all of those.
Yeah, but we'll talk about the dark side of the community in another episode.
Yeah, that'll be another topic for another day.
Yeah, but like, for me, I grew up around nothing but people like me and able-bodied people at the same time. I lived in two worlds, and I still kind of do. So,
well, don't get me wrong.
So it was true about but for me, there wasn't a guy in my situation that looked like me, or was motivated like me for a very long time. Still is. So when I say, like, there's no role model, there's no one you can be like, this guy went to college.
Well,
Did this, and I found them later on, but by the time I found them, they were, I was 15, 16 years old and already, like, whatever.
No, I get where you're coming from, Dom, because like my mom had that project when I was younger, but like for me, I I grew up in a world with able-bodied parents, able-bodied friends, able-bodied siblings, and you're in the same boat. And I think he actually had a little more access to people with disabilities than I did, like on a day-to-day basis.
I
Because
have a squad.
whereas like I knew a few here and there, and then my mom became friends with like one or two people from that group, and she would like send Christmas cards back and forth, but we like didn't really see them. And so
I'll tell you about my group of friends in another episode. We're all pretty much huge personalities.
so yeah,
Every last one of them.
he's got the rolling buddies, shall we say, like
Yeah,
people with disabilities or people in wheelchairs and whatnot. And I'd say 99% of my friends are able-bodied, and I kind of grew up in that world, so I get where he's coming from in that sense. But then again, I grew up not thinking that I was disabled. Like, I knew I was disabled, obviously. There was no hiding it. But I didn't have that mindset. So I sort of have the mindset where I can, like, chase whatever dream I want and do whatever I want to. I mean, obviously we have to look into things a little bit more, but my mom even hates my personality when I say that I'm pretty much willing to throw myself into any situation, and then after that situation comes to fruition, let's look at, okay, what do I need to like make this okay? Instead of, she's like, we gotta plan everything out before. I'm like,
yeah, well, I'm kind of the same way. Like, I grew up, like, my mom and them just told me I had to work twice as hard, which was okay by me. Well, okay, cool. Like, you can do anything you want to do. Like, I didn't start putting disability to a factor until probably, like, say 16 years old, where I was like, well, what am I really good at? And like, I'm not gonna be a scientist. I could be, because I wanted to build exoskeletons to be a
scientist? You're talking to somebody who studied molecular and cellular biology for 2.5 years, but moving on. And I'm talking at the college level.
Yeah, like I was all about the skeleton, you know. I'm really big in anatomy and everything else like that. So I was really focused on that. I didn't become I was always creative, but I didn't become creative in folk. Like, it was comic book artist, person that designed video games, and TV and film, and scientists.
See, you even had more options growing up, because growing up, like, we're both in the TV, film, communications industry now, kind of, sort of. And growing up, I wanted to be a judge. Let's put that out there. I didn't want to be the lawyer. I didn't want to be the prosecutor. I wanted to be the judge.
Well, you can't, like, and ladies and gentlemen, she likes to be the most. It's my law, my way.
And
So don't let her fool you by that nice calm voice of hers. She will throw that gavel down. She done it to me in a couple conversations outside of this microphone. Okay.
like,
Outside
when
the
was
mic.
this, Dom?
This was I think like one of the first times we met.
Okay, I'm listening.
You were just like, I don't know. I don't consider myself disabled. I'm like, alright. Like, I was like, I don't know how you feel. Like, I don't see it. Like, I'm like, listen, you're venturing into my road.
Yeah.
Your road is the able-bodied road. I know both roads. I straddle the fence. I'm over here. I'm over there. I'm fighting for this. I'm chilling out with that.
And now I feel like we're both in, you know.
Now you get it differently. Like, now we're just
Yeah, because I'm in both worlds now. But before, yeah, I would even say, I don't know, about a year ago even, I was.
Yeah, you were like, I don't know. And I'm like, listen. And then we started talking, and you started researching weird things, and you called me like, what's this? Why are you looking that up?
Because I want to know, Dom. Why wouldn't I be looking it up?
Yeah, she had stumbled, like I said, she stumbled across the dark side the first time she was looking at anything. It wasn't like, oh, this is a tournament. No, she was looking up at, like, fetishes that she accidentally went across.
No, because
Some of those groups out there, people, let me put it out there, for you disabled people that are on those, like, you know, what I like to call the groups on Facebook and, like, those forums, you should be ashamed of yourself sometimes.
well,
Because some things, I understand people need to talk about it. People need to talk about it. We all need to talk about it. We all need to discuss it because we all go through it. But some of y'all want to whine on it. It's okay. It's okay because, you know, you might be in more like her situation where you can't find a person with a disability. But some of y'all are just straight up nasty. You need to join the sex forum.
well, and like when I was posing dumb questions, I was purely curious because I was like, I need to know.
She was definitely just purely curious, and I was like, nah.
And like the thing is, like that wasn't my world, so I didn't know. I mean, I grew up in the middle of Minnesota, for that matter, like spending time at my grandparents every other weekend, and the other weekend I was at my aunt's like hobby farm, and then I was in public school, like just your run of the mill small town public school. So like, not my world. And if you guys don't know, like I do these confessions of a wheelchair user series videos on YouTube, and that's how that topic came up. Somebody messaged me about it and was like talking to me, and I'm like, okay.
I showed her a documentary about it. I normally run across some random things. Like the reason I got more involved into the disabled community on an advocacy and on an interesting level wasn't because of curiosity. It was more because throughout my life I had teachers that were advocates. I had teachers that were I had people that were just really for fighting for your rights. And if you know me by personality, I'm a natural born leader and a dominant force of nature. No put on my words, but
Yeah, well, we all know that he took over last week's show.
yeah, and without trying, it's not really a thing that I'm proud of all the time. But
It's okay, Dom.
When you're put in our position, I guess I have more of a punk rock attitude towards everything. So I'm a big counterculturist. Like where Sam is a very traditionalist, I'm a counterculturalist. Like I would be like, if everybody's going this way, I'm going the opposite.
Well, let me put it this way. So I have friends that are able-bodied that are like the same, I feel like the same viewpoint, whatever, as Dom's. And I was at my friend's house. This was a while ago, about a year ago. Maybe 2 years ago. Anyway, I bumped into this friend at my friend's wedding back on the 1st. And he was with a different girlfriend, obviously. And I am very, as Dom said, conservative and Christian, whatever. I grew up Catholic and I'm Republic. And my friend was very, like, hugely democratic and, like, works for the campaigns and works for, like, the smoking whatever campaign of Minnesota. And he's like, I don't know how she does it, because, like, his girlfriend at the time literally sat there and got in a debate with me about why I voted a certain way and Democrat versus Republic and how dare I view the world the way I view it and how whatever. And I was just sitting there like, your viewpoint is good, but mine's better for me anyway. And I look at things, I guess I can tell you, we were talking about the right to gay and lesbian and homosexual, whatever you want to call it. It's the same deal. Marriage in Minnesota. And obviously now it's legal in all of 50 states in the U.S. But at that point it wasn't. And she's like, she's looking at everything as a, like, big open world. Everybody should have pro-choice and pro-freedom. And, don't get me wrong, I believe in that. But
Yeah, some people should not just have babies. Babies are good, and babies are life. And if you can put them up for adoption and the system works, cool. But I tell you more horror stories from people that I know that were adopted and grew up in that system, able, disabled, same. Like I'm all for it, but things need to change on that end. But that's a story for another day.
but like, so then she asked me what I viewed personally, not what I viewed like for the country or for the state or what I wanted for that. She asked me, what do I want? And I said, I don't want like a same-sex marriage for myself. I don't want it. And like she couldn't get that. Like even if I had the option, I didn't want it. Like, don't even give me the option because that's just not how I am. Now, don't get me wrong. I have friends that are like trans and like gay and openly, all of that. And I was like, I don't care what they do. That's their life. They can live the life they want to live. But I was like, that's not the life I want for myself. And she just couldn't get to that point.
I think a lot of people though, and this comes back around the disabled community because I always run into most of my friends like work running boards and being on committees, and I find that to be a great way of advocating. But could I kiss the ass of a politician all day?
I don't know if you could,
Probably not. Let's just put it out there. I can't wear a suit all day. As well-mannered, well-spoken as I can be, and understand the game as the game is played. I don't want the Iron Throne.
I've known Dom for a long time, and I've never seen Dom in a suit. Let's put it out there.
but I, you see, because I haven't had any reason to put on a suit yet until I need to.
Do you even own one, Dom?
Yeah, I own a suit. I own
Do you?
Suits. I like looking good.
That's good to know.
Yes, it's good to know. I own suits, so if you want to take me, when I ask you on a date and it's a good place, be prepared that I will cut all my hair down and I will come with the suit looking fresh to dressed and impress you for a good day. But, like I said, my friends are suits. I have one friend in particular. We call him Golden Boy, and he's just like, he has his ass on his shoulders. Don't mind the background noise, that's my roommate. He's having his special moment right now. But, he has his ass on his shoulder. He runs on these committees, and he does things. And he called me up the other day, he says, Dom, you need to get in this advocacy game. And I was like, I understand, I got you. He was like, no, we gotta quit doing this music hard to quit doing what you're doing and just do this advocacy thing. I'm like, man, me living life is me advocating for people's rights. When people see me out grocery shopping, when they see I got stuck in the mud somewhere, and they're like, that ain't right. That's advocating. When people are comfortable with me being me in an area and they're not looking at me, they're like, oh, this is dumb. That's me advocating, because me being me will not make people think second guess. When something really goes wrong, people will be up in arms about it. Like me going to the board and talking about how we need jobs, that's all good, and I'm down for that. Like if you need me to talk about people with disabilities getting jobs and how like this system needs to change, I'm all for that, because I'm a living walking billboard for that. But me going to Senate and going to Washington, it'd be great, but can I stand that? Can I stomach that fakeness?
Washington is a fun place, Dom. It's not all about politics. It's about American culture and...
Once again, people, she's talking to a guy that is more... My definition of American heritage is totally different. And it's fine. I appreciate it.
Hey, let me get this straight. I'm really big into history and American presidents. I actually, like, the presidents are kind of my thing. when it comes to that. But that pretty much stems from the fact that I have a father who's a Vietnam veteran. And so I grew up and was raised in that type of culture, shall we say.
Alright. Now now I'm the same way. I'm very big into presidents, politics, government. But I was raised by a Native American, Mexican American grandma that fought for our tribe to be recognized, for they can practice their beliefs. My granddad's an old black dude. Let's put it out there. Old black dude from Detroit. Grandma, old Mexican, Native American lady from Detroit. I look at the world like this. I like history because you don't want to repeat itself, so it's all good. Whatever atrocities, whatever.
You need to learn from your past.
Yeah, I'm always for that. But I don't like when people is like, you can be patriotic. I'm patriotic because I believe in my free speech. I believe the right to bear arms. I believe that you can worship anything you want to.
You know, America's a country of choice, and it should be. And, like, I know I'm cutting off Dom, but I was in Philly, and I actually did really... I got to see one of the original 7 copies of the Bill of Rights. And maybe you do, maybe you don't understand how important that is for our society. Whether it be our freedom of speech, our freedom to respect and view America as we choose to view America.
Shout out to America.
But it also gives people like Dom and myself the gateway to help. It laid the groundwork, shall we say, to help people like us have the freedoms and have the rights and to be treated like human beings. Because that came before the other laws.
Yeah, most definitely. And that being said, like a lot of us, a lot of people are bringing up the discussion, and I love how everything is just turning back to what the disability movement really is about, is being patriotic, being the fact that we love ourselves. And there's definitely extremes to there's the extreme factions, and there's people like Sam, and there's people like me. And I think this is the great part about the show, is you're gonna get both of that. Some days I'm gonna be like, hey, people just one day they're just gonna be like, hey, we like doing what we do. And Sam's like, it's the American right. Because in America, let me put it to you this way, it was the land of the rebel to begin with. So people like me will always flourish, and it was the land of a person like that was kind of hard and wanted to change. And it's Sam. Rebels, my hard people. Same with the disabled movement. There's a group that's called Adapt. They do protests where they get arrested. Now imagine a bunch of people in wheelchairs getting thrown in the back of a paddy wagon. It's pretty, I would say it's pretty comical if you're in our position.
It's comical to a sense until you see some of those videos where like people or certain people get abusive. And I'm not saying everybody does, but I've seen it happen where they take excessive force because they feel like the person is not following their orders, but in reality they can't.
Yeah, like so Adapt is a group that somebody told me I need to join. I looked at this like, I don't know if I can be thrown in the back of a paddy wagon, but I understand a bunch about feeling that way. Like I have my natural forces to feel that way. So there's even things out there that you kind of be like, what is going on here?
Well, and like I think Dom is a little more outspoken than I am. Okay, let's be real. He is. I'm the type of person, I want to educate and inform people, yes. But I agree with Dom in the sense, I don't think that I could run for Senate or House or be the president or any of that. Let's be real. That just wouldn't work out for me. Now, I'm the type of person who wants all that, but I want to do it without getting the recognition. So,
Yeah, I'm a behind the scenes person. I'm a puppet master. I want to raise a group of ruffians, and they be like, the teachings of Dom, and I'm like, who is this Dom guy? And I can just eat it. I just can eat food and be a person. When you become any type of figure of what people want as a disabled person, and I tell my mother this all the time because she always tells me what I do things like this or things of TV more, and I'm like, cause I don't feel like I'm a good role model to the people that needs me as a role model, but I'm not a good idea for everybody with disability. I'm not that like poster child. I'm not Superman. You know, I'm not that great idea.
well, and I feel like some people really like the recognition and like being the center of attention, and that's either in your personality or that's not. And like, there's no good or bad to it, but I just, I mean, I get embarrassed watching like videos for people, and I'm like, yeah, no, I just couldn't do it. Like,
For me personally, man, like this comes back to it though. We need a figurehead. We need a type of, Stephen Hawking's the best figurehead I can think of right now. And even he talked about something I thought was interesting. He got asked probably a month or so ago, did he believe in medical suicide, like assisted suicide?
mm-hmm.
And I hate when that's always brought up in the disabled community. And for some reason, UK is always about it. Like the UK is like, yeah, let's give parents the right to euthanize their kid because they feel like they're in pain and stuff. Right?
Okay, but then some kids can't tell you. Like, okay, don't
Well,
get.
that's the thing I'm telling you. Like, I sometimes feel like it's a scapegoat, and like I get what you're saying. Like some people can't tell you how much pain and you don't know what's going on in their mind, but I feel like we give people, if we sign off on that, because that's the reasonable logical answer, right?
I don't know about that, but I
No,
think
but if we sign off on that, I guess, what makes it say that a person like me and you won't even make it to see, like, this age?
and that's scary because like we're only in our mid-20s.
Exactly. Because a parent's gonna be like, my son is struggling, my daughter is struggling. Oh my god, this is painful for me to watch. Let me take away their pain. That's just some crazy, like, youth, that's some...
But like, not everybody with a disability is in pain every single day either. So, I mean, I'm sure Dom can relate to me when you say that some days are better than others, and
most definitely.
like,
I even phone friends. I'd be like, look, this is one of them days. They might call me on the phone and be like, listen, I don't have time to talk. I'm having one of my days. And at first I had to explain it to people. I'll just be like, days. And they be like, alright, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, thank you.
well, and go ahead.
These days, like, your body might hurt. You don't want to be dead. Just like everybody else has days. But we get days where, like, it might last a little. We can't keep that smile on our face today. As much as we want to show you a happy side. Unless you want to put that mask on.
Well, and the thing is, like, some people are luckier than others, and I know some people who, with a disability, can't sit down and do a 40-hour work week because there's just no way. It's too much.
Yeah, I can't do a 40-hour.
But like, I could do a 40-hour work week and just be completely fine. So
you're really special.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm that special, Dom, but hey, I'm alive.
As I was really cynical about that, people think.
But there are days that even people who can do things or whatever, people tend to hide, like, good or bad days. And I'm not just talking like people like Dom and myself. I'm talking like my mom and dad. Like, there are some days when they get out of bed and they're like, oh my god. But you put that smile on, or you like get dressed and you get up because you have to. And I'm sure people who like have kids know that too. Like, you just do it because you have to do it. We live in a world where you do things that you don't want to do sometimes, and it's okay. Like, everybody does. And I think that's the harsh part of growing up. You realize that, like, when you're a kid, you get to do what you want. What's fun, But once you get to that point, you're like, oh, being an adult wasn't all cracked up to be.
I feel like when you're with a disability, though, and you are a, let's say, young adult, it's hard for people to really understand that them days is them days, and you just need to let them be, and they'll be okay the next day, or in a week, or how long it might take them.
Well, like, for me, I'm not a morning person. And so, like, when I get up in the morning and I have to do something, like, let me have some caffeine and let me have something to eat before you even talk to me.
Yeah, like, I'm one of them people, I've been going through it, and I kind of am happy I've been doing this show then, because I didn't know if I was going to do the show. I was in the headspace, and I pushed a lot of people away because I don't want to take my wrath out on them.
And I feel like sometimes we do that. Like, it's just better to separate yourself than to push the people you love away.
Yeah, I tried to separate myself, but I ended up pushing some people away. They understand, but at the same time, now they're hurt. And it's just part of life, you know.
Well, like, and I think to bring it about around what Dom was saying is, because of our age and the way we look and the fact that we're young, people don't realize that you could be in as much pain as you are. Like, I'm fine right now. I don't know about Dom, but like, there are just days you don't feel well, but you go about doing your things. Like, if you were like really old or like really sick and like saying you don't feel well and things are okay, then people are more likely to believe you sometimes. But yeah.
The minute you say like you're in pain and you're 20, 23 or 20 something, or even like 30, they'd be like, oh, you should get over that.
Well, and the thing is, a lot of people who aren't in the community don't realize that our bodies age faster. It's not that our conditions get worse always, unless you have something like MS. But like, they age faster because we use them not for ways they weren't intended to.
Yeah, we're putting our body through a lot of wear and tear right now, unless you're sitting there, you know. And that doesn't mean we're not gonna live long. We might outlive you, you know what I'm saying? But
well, and the thing is, like, Dom and I have the normal life expectancy, and the only variation in our life expectancy really is our family background, so your genetic history, your lifestyle, and what you eat, and so, like, where you know, what environmental factors you were exposed to.
And I grew up with some friends that they died at like 13 and like 14 and 20 and like 12. So, you know, like, those are all from genetic disabilities, which are different,
they affect your lifespan.
They affect the lifespan more than you want to admit.
Yeah, and like, Dom and I both have cerebral palsy or cerebral palsy, however you want to pronounce it.
Yep, cerebral palsy.
And it doesn't affect your lifespan. It's just genetic. It's the same way with the way we look and our mannerisms and the way we act. Those are genetic and environmental, and you pick things up. Like, I can tell you right now, I look like almost an identical copy to my paternal grandmother. It has nothing to do with the fact that I have a disability. There are some disabilities that affect those things, and that's just how it is. But that being said, I think people need to open their minds a little bit in the sense that they don't know everything. We're bringing it back to the grass is always greener on the other side. You don't know everything. You don't know unless you ask or you know what they have. I have people in my family who I've known my whole entire life, and I bet you 50% of them can't tell you what I have. But they make assumptions.
That's funny. Well, that's kind of true, too. Like, I love the fact that people make the assumption I'm paralyzed.
Oh, that's a good one. And then, like...
And then they do some dumb stuff like kick your leg, and you're like, hey, stop doing that shit.
Or like, the other day I was in the store, yesterday actually, and I'm not paralyzed either, and I bent down to pick up a toy my niece threw on the floor, and like, I was leaning against our car, standing up, and I had braced my knees on, I guess, like, the body of the car, and I stood up and put my niece in her car seat, because she's an infant. Well, I set her down and then set her down in the car and then picked her back up and set her in the car seat. And people, you shock people sometimes. But...
Oh yeah, like, I love freaking out some people. My chair stands up and I have a good moment where I was at the urinal and I was at the school and I peed and the guy like was rushing to the bathroom. I felt bad for this guy because he was rushing to the bathroom. And the stall was open, but I couldn't fit in the stall. So, I just stood up and peed at the urinal. And he ran, and I must have freaked him out because he ran back out. Like, he looked like he had used the bathroom. And I was like, dude, he was holding himself doing the pee-pee dance like he was a little kid. And he jumped up, and he looked at me. And I was just keep going, you know what I'm saying? And he stopped, and he just boom. Like, ran back up. So it's funny to scare people or freak them out, or, you know.
Well, and the thing is, people don't know. They don't, and they're not gonna know. Like, unfortunately, like, what we have can be and is, like, physical to an extent. But it's not to everything. Like, if it's more severe, obviously you're gonna have more issues that are gonna be more noticeable. But that doesn't always give you the answer. Like, you could look at one person and they could tell you, oh, I have this and this and this, and look this way and have it affect their body one way, and then another person could be like, I have this. And it's not a catch-all. I know when I was in college a few years ago, a friend of mine, he also has what we have, and he assumed that everything that I could do, he could do. And he was in the same department, so he was studying communication, and I was further along in the program than he was. And he's like, well, how come you can do this? And how come they have respect for you? And, you know, you can spend all this time volunteering and not have to worry about it. And, like, people don't get mad at you. And it comes down to it. Yes, we have the same thing, but it doesn't affect us the same way. And unlike him, I don't have anything besides scoliosis on top of my cerebral palsy. So,
yeah, like, it all depends on what you're doing. When it comes down to it, people are like, you know, everybody's different.
You just never know. You can't look at somebody and be like, you never know. And the funny thing is, even you want to talk about paraplegics or people who are paralyzed, they're not all the same. A lot of them have different injury levels, some people can feel, some people can't.
They have different spots of their body, how they move. It's kind of crazy.
Well, and you know, certain people can do certain things. Like we were talking before the show, and like if I wanted to, I could jump in your standard car and drive. No big deal. And not everybody can. Like, and no, they don't just let everybody who says they can do that. They test us, and it's usually out of your pocket. And they won't even give you a driver's permit or license without passing that test. It's kind of like when you look at somebody's license and you flip it over on the back and they say like correctional lenses required to drive. It's sort of like that. They test your eyes, and they test, you know, if they have to, they test that too. So, and some people can, you know, jump in a regular car and drive. Some people just need, like, hand gears. And some people don't need hand gears, but they need, like, the steering wheel attachment. And some people need all of that. It really just depends.
Yep, it truly does. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, freaks, geeks, to all those who are truly unique, I think this might be the end of the show.
At that point, are you, Dom?
My body's at that point. I don't want to fall asleep on the mic.
Of course not. So with that being said, I think we're going to catch you later next week.
Catch you later next week. Same channel. Check out Sam.
I think we're going to eventually put it on some type of SoundCloud eventually. We'll get around to that point.
But hopefully you enjoy what we're talking about. Because I enjoy talking to you, the listener. And please give us the feedback.
Yeah.
Haters, you are welcome.
I want to know what people think. So, that's always interesting. I know some people listened to it last week anyway.
That's always good. So check it out. Check out Sam's YouTube. The Instagrams. Do you got Twitter?
I have Twitter. Do you have Instagram and Twitter and all of those?
I have a music Facebook page, 4 Wheels and a Mic on Facebook, 4 Wheels and a Mic on Twitter.
He kind of raps on the side.
SoundCloud. Yeah, I'm a rapper. I'm not trying to do this show to promote my music really, but it's out there. I also like to talk about video games and anime, so if you guys want to really get in depth with me on some nerd stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe we should do like a nerd special.
Oh, we should. I think that might be next week.
That would be fun. I mean...
Yeah, that would be fun. So, next week is the nerd special. So you can hear about how to try to figure out if your cosplay can fit your wheelchair. And, you know... There's a lot of things going on there.
Oh, and, you know, maybe some, I don't know. Like the Doctor Who? We all know, we all know about my love for Doctor Who.
She's another Doctor.
Anyway, we'll save that for next week, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.